Hey guys, this is Aaron from my camper home. I'm gonna put up a couple of videos the next couple of weeks. I got two major projects I need to get done in the trailer, so I'm gonna start working on those now. The first one is my electrical system. With most of these trailers, they have AC and DC circuits in them. I guess the reasoning it's a DC is so they could run off the battery if you're out roughing it. So the lights are usually run through DC. So I have the same thing in here. I have all my above lights, that one back behind me there, and then there's one right up there too, are running off DC side of the electrical system, and that is run off an AC to DC converter in the breaker box. So if you're on batteries, you've got a battery on the front of the trailer on the tongue, and if you'll run off the battery if you're not hooked up to AC. But if you're hooked up to AC, you have the ability to convert AC to DC. That way you can still use the DC circuits to power your lights when you're plugged in. So what happened about last month when my son was out here, we started smelling something burning pretty bad, and it smelled like electrical or a rubber burning, and we felt down below the stove, and there's the breaker box with your AC, your DC, and everything's kind of wrapped up in one package. So I felt it, and it was really hot. So I found the AC breaker that was feeding the DC inverter, clicked it off, and then it stopped smelling. The bad thing is I have no lights. So I went out and got a couple of or my girlfriend gave me a couple of these AC pendant lights that she found. So I have them hanging up, so I have some lights in here. I'm getting to the point now to where I've got all the parts I need to do it. I ordered a 30 amp AC to DC inverter off of Amazon, and I'll put the link down below here. It was I mean, if you look for a RV brand to replace what you have here, you're gonna pay over $100. This one was $17, and it had shipped to my house. 30 amps is plenty enough just for lights. If you're doing something else with your DC, you may want to reevaluate. But best of my figure, in these lights, where are they? Over there. Here they are. These lights are just little small automotive lights. They pull maybe 1.5 watts, which means I'm using very little amperage. So what it is, I bought this unit, and I'm going to put it in. And I always wanted to do this anyway. I wanted to break the AC up and the DC up, so I have more of a modular system. So when something like this happens, something breaks or something needs to be changed, I don't have a proprietary system that I have to work with. I'm looking around, so I'm trying to see if I can find that DC converter, and you know what? It's out in the truck. It's just a little small shiny silver. It's being sold as a DC converter for professional LED light systems. So if you're running like a DJ or something, and you need some LED DC lights, it doesn't. It pushes out 12 volts DC. It's got 3 connectors. It's got 3 connectors, 3 positives, 3 negatives, and then 3 feeds: a positive, negative, and ground. And I'm going to mount it up on a little short knee wall that I had left here. The reason I left the knee wall is because all the wires were coming out of the ceiling, coming down to the floor. So I left this little short knee wall. It's about a foot deep and about 3 or 4 inches wide. I'll show you that here in a second. So I'm going to put it in that cavity, and then put the panel box that I just bought down below it. The game plan is to put this new. It's actually a sub panel box, but it's rated for 100 amps, and I also got that on Amazon, and I'll put the link down here too. And it was only $20-something. It's got six or 8 breaker boxes. It's a square D breaker box. It's got room for 6 or 8 full breakers, which of course you can get those split breakers and put 12 to 15, but my unit only has 8, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and feed that. Another thing I want to do is I'm on a 30 amp system now in the trailer, which is, I've been in here almost 2 years, and it's the only time I have an issue is if I try to run the air conditioner and the microwave at the same time, and it has throws a breaker. So I'm talking about upgrading to 50 amps. They have 50 amps available here, and it just might make me feel a little better about running everything. It's not a dead, you know, I've got to do it, but I'd like to. So the box I bought has the ability to upgrade to 50 amps. So we'll see about that. I really want to talk to an electrician before I go wiring in 50 amps and to make sure I have it right. I have it in my head what I think I need, what it needs, but I'm going to check. So, and the other thing is, when I built this trailer, I don't know if you guys remember, I built a stove. I built a little cabinet to put the stove in, and the main reason was because below it was that big honking proprietary electric box. Well, since I'm moving everything up on the wall, there's no reason to have that there anymore. No reason to take up that space. I couldn't store anything underneath there because all the electrical stuff was down there, and above it was the stove, which I have not even hooked up to gas in the last year and a half I've been in this trailer. So I just carried that stove outside, put it in the back of my truck. I'm gonna give it away or just scrap it, and I'm gonna take that cabinet down and then recover some of the space I have here. So let me turn this thing around and show you guys. All right, sorry about the mess. It's just some tight space in here. I got to get some more shelves built in. But here was the hole where the stove is. Just one of those basic 3-burner propane RV stoves. In fact, it's the one that came with this. And you'll see right there is the propane line that came up from the floor. Now down here, let me show you this. This is the breaker box that came with the trailer. It's got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 breakers and 4 split breakers. The top one's for the feed, and one of the 15 amps is a feed for the DC. I think it's the DC one. I've got them labeled there. And then you'll see over here is the DC side. Got a bunch of breakers, and if you pull this thing off, let's see if I can get it off. I'll get it off and I'll show you guys later. But down below here, there is a AC to DC converter. So I've got power, comes in the wall, goes into here. All these colored wires, except for that yellow one, are DC. This yellow one feeds the air conditioner. It's the 20 amp one. But everything else is 10 and 15. So they used to go up this wall, and I had this little short kick-out wall because everything was going up. So I didn't want to redo all the wires to the wall. So I just left this kick wall. So I'm going to mount that converter right here, and then right below it I'm going to mount, or either over here, probably here, over here I'm going to mount that breaker box. So that way on this wall here, all my electrical, those wires won't be coming down. They'll only come down about, you know, to the converter, the inverter. And then I'm going to take the rest of this cabinet out. So, you know, from the knee wall over, I'll recover all this space. So what I'm planning on doing is taking this shelf I had and scooting it over the 48 inches over to here, and then that gives me all this room. Oh, there's Princess working hard. All this room back here in the living room where I can actually put a couch here if I want to, a nice leather couch to lay out on. Right now I don't have enough room. I could put a love seat in it, but that's about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started, and then I'll bring you guys back and show you what I've got going on. And one more quick one. I got to cover off that panel, so I was wrong. There's six breakers. One's the 30 amp is for the feed, and this 15 amp is for the DC, and this 20 amp there's for the AC. So I really only have 3 15 amp circuits feeding all the plugs in this thing. So you got the DC side over there. I might be able to reuse that panel. That way I can integrate the fuses into it. I'm not sure. We'll see. And you see down below, that's the AC to DC inverter. The AC comes in on the left side there, and then the DC comes up. That red and white wires, I think, are the DC feeds into, yep, there they are. That right there, the red and the white, that's the feed from the AC. And then that orange one, goes back to the front of the trailer where the batteries are, so that way you can feed in with the battery. And the reason there's not another ground with it is because that red is actually the ground, and it's grounded to the chassis. You know, it's kind of confusing. Once I pull it out, I'll show you guys. So that's what we have in there, and I'm gonna get rid of that box. I'm hoping I can reuse those breakers in my new one, but I'm not sure. But I'm gonna close this back up because I got a dog that likes to lick things, and she'd get quite a surprise if she licked something in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this back up, and I'll bring you guys back when I have something. All right, hey guys, this is Aaron from my camper home again. I'm gonna try to get this DC inverter installed today. So what I've done here, you see I pulled out the stove that used to be here. There's the old electrical box, and you see all the colored wires there? Those are all the DC circuits. They come and they go up this knee wall. I know it's not called a knee wall, it's a little short wall up into the ceiling and then out to the rest of the trailer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that inverter right in here, so these wires will come down and they'll connect into it right here. I'm going to flip it over to where it's pointing up, and I'll show you that here in a minute. There's two AC wires that come down from the ceiling. One is for the right side of the trailer, and then this one is for the air conditioner. So I'm going to go ahead and bypass those and bring them down. I think I'm going to the area here, the width here, is just about that much too small to put that breaker box that I bought in here. Here's the breaker box. Just kind of a little 6 port square D load box that I'm going to use for my breaker box, and it's got room for 6 breakers in there. There's a load connector. There's a load connector. There's the common right there. So I'll try to get this installed and put up on a. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right down there. This whole top is going to come off, but I'm going to leave this little wall here because of that part of the wall back there. So I really couldn't push the shelves over all the way anyway. So I had this empty space. So I think I put it in there, and then just make sure the shelves I have the next to it gives room for that door to open and get into. So I think that'll work out good. Hopefully the door opens the right way. I'll check that here in a second. So let me go ahead and get started with this. And okay guys, I've talked about the inverter that I bought, and I wanted to show you guys I finally got in the house. This is basically it. It's very nondescript. Switching power, 12 volts to 30 amps. On the end here, let me set this up here. The end here, you've got this connector, and here you got the first 3 are your positive, next 3 are your negative, and then your ground, your neutral, and your load. So this is where your AC goes in. Your 3 AC circuits. Here's your negative for your DC, and your other 3 negative for your DC. You'll connect it into that. Again, it's 12 volts, 30 amps. AC input, is it to 100, 116, 110? So I use this to power my DC side of my circuit. I got this off Amazon for about, I think it's about 20 bucks. It's got a built-in fan on the top. Okay, so to mount this on that wall that I want to do, on the back there are 3 or 4 holes here that I bought some screws for. The actual screws are what is that, number 8 / 32, a ½ inch long. So that's what those were. I finally found those. I actually had to take this into the big box store and try screws so I found the right one that fit. Now it only goes in a short bit because of course the circuit board's right in there. So what I'm going to do is, sure, I could come across, I could measure the distance from here to there and distance from here to there, and then try to guess where I should drill the holes through the wall so these screws will go through. But I think what I'm going to try to do, I found this old can of paint I have here, this old Kills paint. I'm going to put some white paint on the end of each one of these heads, and I'm just going to press the whole thing against the wall. That way I get a marking of where I need to drill the holes through. So I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm gonna go ahead and mount this and try to start wiring the DC at least today. All right, hey guys, it's Eric again. I want to show you what I've got going on so far. It's kind of dark in here because I got the power turned off the trailer because I'm messing with AC. So please pardon that. But I got the DC inverter up here. So basically, I've mounted this here, and all these colored wires that were coming down from the ceiling, I've doubled them up, and I've mounted them on the AC side. So I got 2, 2, and 2. Okay, so for this, I haven't finished that yet. Yeah. So for this, the next 3, you'll see the yellow wire that kind of loops between them all 3. Basically, I just collared them all together. See if I can focus that on a little better for you guys. Because I have one single ground that comes out of this first one. You'll see right there. That's the ground that goes down to this you can't see it in there. There's a common bus down there that has all the ground. So that the DC goes up from here, and then all these whites come down, and they go down to the bottom to a common bus, and then I run a single wire back up to here to tie these 3 together. Now I know some of you guys are gonna say, well, you shouldn't do that because you got a regular gauge wire and you're running multiple gauges through it. This is a trailer. The only thing on DC is these little tiny light bulbs that power the lights. I'm not running anything big DC. I'm not running a hood vent. I'm not running anything that's going to pull a lot of amperage. So I think I'm okay. These little tiny automobile lights that are in here are very low amperage. So I just tied all 3 negative DCs together and ran them down to the bus, which ties in with everything else that comes back. And then right here, you'll see that I ran an AC up. So I have a positive, I have a negative, and I have a ground. So that's what feeds the AC into here, which feeds the DC out. Okay, so the next thing I did is I decided to do the DC side. So if you can see down there, let me see if I can turn the lights on this thing. Maybe not. Pull all the breakers out of that, and I turn the brightness up. No. I pull the breakers out there, and I put them up here on this. Find this. Sorry. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so this breaker box is set up for 100 amps, which you normally have double loads. You got one here, and you got one here, and the top load feeds every other breaker, and the bottom load feeds every other breaker. So if you look at that, let me see. Yeah, see the top one here feeds 1, 2, 3, and then the bottom load feeds 1, 2, 3. Well, since I've only got one breaker, and the fact that I'm on a 30 amp system, I only have a single black coming in. If I went up to 50 amps, I'd have double blacks. I can use that other phase, but right now I'm just going to use one phase. So what will happen is the black will come in, or the what is that? The white. The white will come in and go up here. The black will come in and go to here, and then the blacks will feed it. Oh, sorry. So the white will come in up the top, this neutral bar. The black will come in and feed these 3 breakers, and then the black will go out of here to all my circuits, and then the white from the circuits will connect to this bus bar at the top. So it's I've got this. And another thing I had is these breakers they just came out of the one that's in the trailer. So I'm not saying anything about them. Let's see if I can get that in focus. No, I can't. With the back right here. This back right here. See that little notch there? Well, the notch that was in the camper was smaller. So you can see where I kind of carved this notch out. So the notch stopped right there. And I had to carve it out because on mine there's a little tag on there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm sorry about this, guys, but there's really not much I can do about the light in here right now. So I just kind of carved it out so that tag would go in there. Now you can pop this thing in there and it pops down. So I got 3 breakers in. I'm gonna go ahead and start wiring the rest of the stuff in and put this box in. All right, guys, just a mid-work report. I've got the DC inverter up there done. I showed you guys that, and I've installed the breaker box here to the back of the wall. I decided to just do it here instead of on this side wall. It's better here, I think. Okay, so like I said, down at the bottom, this is the plug coming in from outside the shore power. So it comes up. You got the white wire that goes into the neutral bus. You got the green wire that goes up into the ground bus, and the black wire goes into this top phase. So that's why I've got these breakers spaced out every other, because see, this top phase, it only feeds 1, 3, and 5, and the bottom phase feeds 2, 4, and 6. So since I don't need that bottom phase and I'm only using a single 30 amp feed, I'll just do it that way for now, and then that way if I ever decide later to go to a 50 amp unit, I can just pull a new power in, plug the second phase in there, and I got 3 more breaker spots. But this is a good thing. I wired in 1 breaker. See that black one down there? That's basically the back wall of my trailer, and I went out and plugged it in just to test it to see everything works. And lights on, microwaves on, so the whole left side of my trailer's on. Everything looks good. I just did a voltmeter test on the circuits, and everything looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this down and finish running in the other 5 breakers, and then I'll have power back to my trailer and in a much better orientation. So hey guys, this is probably my final recording on this issue. I just want to let you know I've got the system back in. I've got everything wired in. See if I can focus that in there. I've got the 3 breakers, which each are doubles, and actually I'm not using the 30 amp, because that used to 30 amp right here used to be the feed for the box. It actually fed the 30 amp in through there, but I'm feeding through the bus up there, so I don't need that. And then this one right here is a 20 amp, and it feeds the air conditioner up top, which doesn't work right now. But I've got the wires coming in from all over. They come in here. The white goes to the neutral bus, the greens and grounds, the coppers go to the ground bus, and then the blacks go down here. I have the power turned back on. You see the green light up there? The DC inverter is on. Super quiet. Can't even hear it. And I got overhead lights again. These are the ones that ran off the DC side. So now I have overhead lights again. So I'm really happy about how it went. I got everything done. Everything I want to get done. It's hot. I'm glad to have the AC back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this panel on. You see I got it laying down there. I had put it on, but I wanted to show you guys the work inside there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this panel back up there, close this off, and finish tearing out this cabinet and move the shelves over. So anyway, as always, thanks for watching my camper home, and I should have another one coming up soon. I'm going to take this cabinet top out and replace this sink. This galvanized tub sink was a good idea at the time. It's still a good idea. It's just 2 years old and it's not quite working for me anymore. So I bought a small RV sink that I'm going to put in this place. So I've got the wood, I've got everything to do it. So I'm going to go and stain the wood, cut the hole, put the new one in. The good thing is the new sink will be flush with the counter, so it's easier to put a dish drainer in over there. So I could just have everything instead of just using a towel. It's starting to mold that board. So anyway, I'm really happy about how it went. I feel accomplished for the day, and I'm gonna go ahead and close this out and put it together and get it up for you guys. Thanks for following. Bye.